trees. Good to paint stuff you love. That is not what, that's a stupid dead breath. I always take out stuff I think is ugly. Or I shouldn't say that. I have good ugliness too. If you can have, you know, I always said a contrast. But let's see what I want to do there. Now here's a good dark. So this is the Hooker's Green and the French Ultramarine make a beautiful teal. So I'm going to go into this. Oh, that's really active. I'm going to put some red into it to tone it back. I may have to soften that. It's just an idea I have right now in my head, so. Now the rhythm of this edge is important. How is, oh, there's some weird stuff here. Painted around this sign. It didn't work very good. I painted this little globe because you could never paint this globe around it. But you don't want it to look. If I don't make any sense, it's because I'm concentrated. See, I like this brush because you can make a straight line, but you can change it.
Are those new though, or did you just get them? Or?
This is it. Well, I've had them for years, but this is a new one because they get dull the way I have used them. So there's some reflected light there. But because I have this board here, I can vary this, or this tape here, I can vary how that changes without worrying about the edge. Ooh, that's white. Ooh. Okay. And then you have to pick up your puddles. You know, if you ever see an ugly puddle, that's, you know how you see one and you have a hole in the driveway and then there's rings, the dirty rings around it, and then there's the dirty, dirty water at the bottom of it. Those rings are where the water is trying to dry out and it's trying to level itself, so it pushes up. And that's what happens in our watercolors when we have a puddle. So if you leave a puddle, like this is a key problem with things like this. I have a puddle right here on the edge of my paper, so I can just wipe that off, because I might come back later and then I'll push all that paint over and make a big ring. So you don't control the watercolor. I don't like that, but I'll fool with that later.
That looks good from here.
Oh, good, thank you. Now I'll just leave it then. But you do have to watch for things puddling up. But you can see how this is kind of connecting into the background.
Right, yeah.
Now you can tell if it's dry enough to paint on with, if it feels cool. If you mess with an area that's cool, you can still have the paint bleed back into it. So I'm going to go over here. You do have to waste paint. Here, I'm showing you, see? You can waste some of this, it's okay.
It's hard.
You can save it, but if you want anything bright, you gotta go. Now you can see how this is bleeding into this wasn't completely dry. And if I don't like that, I can scrub that out when it is completely dry. So, however, if I go right now and say, oh, I don't like that, and try to fix it, it will become a huge, huge mess. So, you have to just say, okay, that's not okay. And like this blob in there, that's not very attractive. But you can take that out later.
Now, this is your left brain talking to you.
Well, it could be, yeah. And then standing back here. Okay. So I'm going to work on this roof. Where'd you go? This is one of the problems working from several pictures. I got some warm colors here going up. So I'll put some more out here. This is actually very relaxing, you know. Like if you need to think hard, you can just get your paint ready. It can help you cope mentally with the stress of putting color on a paper. It's funny that it could be stressful. You know, it's that fear of failure. We just don't need that, though. It doesn't help at all. So, I also gonna get. I have some of these cobalts, like this cobalt green. It's a great color because it's a low. It's not a dark value. It's a medium value pigment. But you can mix it with your reds without it taking over so much. So it's kind of a fun one. And for terracotta, it looks kind of cool, I think. Got to be totally into cool. So here, I can look at these roofs, and I keep changing. And I see some of this terracotta in here. I won't put all the texture in the first wash. But if you keep changing the color, see, by painting in some of this stuff, you know where to, this is an organic shape, this branch, you know where to stop. Like I'm dragging something. Now these roof tiles. There's a neat dark rim on it. I don't know if I can get that now, and I might put some of it in. This could be simpler over here. Looks too weird. You can only listen to yourself, right? We can be so hard on ourselves. It really doesn't help much. Now this is coming out of here, so I gotta bring this down here. Have that drawn funny.
I have never known why artists that demo don't step away from their painting every once in a while and look at it. Because you do, I know you do it at home.
Because there's 60
Don't
people
you?
watching.
I'm looking.
Well, you're looking, but you're looking up real close. You don't see the whole thing when you, we sit back here, and I think you're doing a great job, but I remember we had Alberto Castanet here, and he went back and looked at his and says, oh my God. And then he came back and was working on it. But, I think we don't do enough of that. We don't do enough to stand back and study.
Yeah, when you're on your own, you can spend all the time you want.
Yeah, but you can do it here too,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
It only takes what,
If you start falling asleep, though, let me
It
know.
only takes a minute, a couple seconds.
Okay, in the windows, you can put color. We don't have to use whatever there that we see, or we can have fun with it. It's a dark shade. I think of dark pigments putting next to each other.
Yeah, nice.
And you don't want it to be the same. This one looks darker to me. So why not? Sometimes you have to make a straight line. Ugh. Okay. You can scrub that out, or you can use a smaller brush. I'm gonna leave that because it's a mess. But I can fix that. I can put tape on either side and scrub out the bumps, or I can make the windows bigger or whatever I need to do. But I can't fool in it. Now I have these little triangles, same idea. How can we make them a little different from each other? This is a tension point where the point runs into this shape. So I'm making it bigger. It looks better if you think about in communication with people. Like if you look at some paintings, you may not know why you're comfortable looking at some paintings, and other paintings you're really uncomfortable. And a lot of it is the relationship. Like if I put my hand on someone's shoulder, they know it's there and they feel that, and that's okay. And if I'm not having my hand, if I have a space away from it, but if I had someone just coming up right here, just touching your face, would that make you tense? Same thing with your shapes. You can have that kind of tension. Now that could be a useful thing, but generally it's unattractive. But everything like that is. Someone will do it and it'll look great. I saw a guy in college and I thought, how did he get that hammered? It looked like it's hitting the nails. And that's what he did. He had the edge of right on the edge. The teacher went crazy. It's a tension point. But there was a good use of a tension point because it did. I was like, how did he do that? So that's what he did. So I'm glad she told us. Okay, so here I have a repeated motif. The triangle. keeps running into crap. So I guess we'll go over that one. Takes all my concentration to do that. Maybe a purpley one. This one actually has a blue edge on it. I have to put the blue edge in later, I think. So I'm not going to go up to it. But that's a little movement, do you see that? But it's not the same. So that habit of changing your color slightly really will enhance eye movement in your painting. You want the viewer to travel through your picture plane. And we do that by creating eye movement patterns. Repeated shapes lead to others. And the colors being similar will lead. And you want to get people going through this whole picture plane. A lot of times when you're a beginner, you want to paint something so it looks real. And so you concentrate on painting that real thing and you put it right in the middle of the picture, and then you don't do anything with the background. Well, if you get across the room, it looks like a blob in the middle of a big white space. And that's what a juror would see. So if you want people to if you want to get some awards, you need to deal with the space around your subject. You need to connect that subject to the background. It's kind of looking pretty good. This thing got pretty flat. I'm not very impressed with that, but we can lift out something that might be neat. Okay.
Whenever you want to take a break, it's a good time.
I'll go a little further. I'll come back to this thing.
Okay.
And thank you. Are you falling asleep?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, here's a line. I give people exercise on painting lines in my workshop, but I'm going to just paint one for you. Change the color. The rhythm is different.